all live it. You know what I'm saying? Like we live it. Like hip hop ain't just raps to us. It's raps. It's being fly. It's like I'm still taking codes from Kane.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm still taking codes from that era. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's what it is to us. So it's like, you know, when you get the opportunity to walk a runway or get that endorsement deal for me, I'm like, man, I remember when this wasn't even supposed to be here. I remember my dad telling me rap won't gonna be here. Like I remember it. Like, man, that won't be nothing.
It's noise.
Yeah, all this noise. You know,
me that in the room.
So it's like,
it was worse for me. I had a Cuban father.
Oh, he didn't understand you at all.
On the table, that he definitely looking at. Now he was telling me the plain truth. He was like, "You're not going to make it. Have you seen any Spanish guys make it in this? You're done." And I'm from the soil, the Bronx. And my father actually saw hip hop born. He was like, "There's no other Spanish people doing this, Papi. Like, you have no chance." And I'm on it. I'm in the kitchen writing on the table.
Yeah.
But then they become my biggest fans.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
You know.
I'll never forget, man. My dad recited Big's "Flavor in Your Ear" verse to me. Woo! And I was like, "Flavor in Your Ear" remix verse. And I was floored.
Yo, it's Big Ant the Spokesman, man. We back. Another edition of Urban Politicians TV, UPTV. Make sure you stay on your pivot at all times, man. Had to come tap in as one of the most controversial conversations in the culture that made its way into the timeline once again, with the topic of who created hip-hop, who started it, who was there first, who wasn't, and every topic that come along with that. And I had a link in the description where you can watch the clip in the beginning in full on Joe and Jada's show, as they recently had the clips on as guests to talk about the new album that dropped, Let God Sort 'Em Out, and it most definitely is going crazy front to back. They killed that Tiny Desk performance, but we already knew what we was going to see with them two. They most definitely going crazy right now. They did a great rollout. It's most definitely just going up right now. Shout out to them with the album. But as they got to talking about it, Pusha T, speaking on his origins of coming up as a hip-hop kid, hey, my parents wasn't feeling that. They'll be like, "Oh, that's just that noise, man. That's that noise." And if you know, that's something our younger generation was doing at that time. So the older parents, and they older than me, they'll be like, "Hey, man, we don't want to hear that ruckus." I hear from like my grandparents maybe, "Hey, we don't want to hear all that racket. We don't want to hear all that ruckus and stuff, that noise," like Jada say. But they understood, the younger black kids, that that's what they was on. You might hear older people saying that ain't no real music. They just sampling the old classic songs. This the real music, and they'll put on one of the oldie tracks or whatever. But Pusha T was explaining that with his father, and most definitely condolences to Pusha T and Malice's parents. I know that they had passed away. That had been getting discussed most definitely. Also, Fat Joe parents, I think, passed away not too long ago as well. Most definitely condolences to them, and God bless their souls. May they rest in peace. But Fat Joe started explaining his experience and his encounters with his pops of when hip-hop was starting, and they seeing it in real time. His pops is there telling him directly, "Hey, son, that's a black thing. I don't see nobody Spanish making it in that game. I don't see you having a future over there," because of the fact, the simple understanding is that's not their history, that's not their lineage, that's not their culture. That right there is what black people do, son. That ain't really us. Nah, later on you become a fan, but that's all this argument was from the jump, that, hey, when you hear these terms, we created it 50-50, or this was something we all did together, but we like, hold on. In the beginning of this is all black. Y'all came on to it later. Y'all people wasn't raised to get into that. Y'all people was looking at this like it ain't that, in a way of like, that's not our culture. That's not our ethnic lineage and background lifestyle. That's for them. You even hear where it's on video, Crazy Legs, that said before the Moreno style, they brought the black style outside and brought it to the streets and things like that. And all we did was, at that time with our lineage, the ancestors already had these type of social gatherings. Even if you just gonna go back to centers, juke joints, hangouts, DJing, dancing, well not DJing, playing the instruments and the music, the blues, the funk, everybody jack, and then it elevated into what became hip hop today. That's why the rap music come from soul samples in the beginning of time, taking that music and breaking those beats down. You can look at these things as, hey, this come from black people. All we was saying was, hey, bro, how y'all gonna say that other people created this with us from the Caribbeans or other countries or this background, that background? We saying, bro, our people been doing this. We just took what our people did and elevated and poured more into it and put other layers on top of it that became hip hop eventually. So when we heard that, it's just like, hey, bro, nah, we can't let it be where everybody created hip hop as one. It's like, bro, this is what we did. We've had all these other genres and lanes of music that we created that got taken away in the way of the definition and us not getting our credit and what it originally has stood for. Rock and roll, jazz, blues, country music, funk, R&B, the bebop era, all that, man, where, hey, dog, we taking this and we gonna make it be what we want to be now, and it's not seen as a black creation. But hip-hop being so prevalent because it's a direct reflection of what we do every day in the black community, and we've always kept reinventing it. When we hear, oh, well, we created this with everybody, it's like, oh, no, bro. We did that, and that's all that it was, but it got controversial over the time with Fat Joe. He went on the Math Hoffa, said the FBA stuff, went at Tariq Nasheed and Lord Jamar, and most definitely Lord Jamar. He went out, did what he did on Vlad, went outside and back, killed his credibility on the internet. But if Lord Jamar is speaking truth to a topic, I'll come on here and say that. The things that he was saying about FBAs and what rap and hip hop came from, those was all facts. But when you do what Lord Jamar did, you most definitely made people look at you like, hey, they can poke holes on you and look like you're just running a game and you're just talking. That's why you don't want to go up here and kill your credibility on the internet. And if you are going to make a decision and do certain things, be transparent and be direct with the people. Don't talk in circles. But the facts is the facts, man. When we watch these things, we have to call it for what it is. It wasn't about no beef. It wasn't about, oh, we just trying to like do other people dirty. They want to turn into racist stuff and all this. Nah, bro, it ain't that at all. We just speaking the truth. I had people up on the East Coast making videos about me, trying to make it a demographic of geography of, oh, well, you're from Texas. How do you know? Hey, fam, New York was not the only people that our people was having gatherings, dancing, rapping. Rapping didn't start in New York, y'all. Breakdancing didn't start in New York. DJing didn't start in New York. Soul music didn't start in New York. So it's like all that got combined, and then in New York, they said, hey, we're going to identify this as hip hop. This is what we going to do, nigga. We coming together, we partying, we rocking. Even in its beginning days, they wasn't calling it hip hop. That became later on. But if you watch, when hip hop grew and grew, as far as the music side of it, because people been dancing, people been getting fly. People been having their own slang, their own hangout spots, their own neighborhoods they repping. That didn't just start simply in New York. That was going on everywhere, bro. It just is what it is. But it hit in New York, they put it all together. They was able to brand it as this thing called hip hop, but it was going on in all these countries. That's why you can go look at the old videos of guys breakdancing from back in the day. We going back to the 40s. Guys rapping in the 40s. And if you know it's on camera in the 40s, it was going on before the cameras came out. It just all evolved into what we came into hip hop. Taking James Brown music and other soul and rock and roll samples that the black guys was putting out at that time and making it to this. It wasn't no hate, but people just didn't want to accept it. They wanted to get into this beef. They want to make it a New York thing only. Nah. Is New York a major factor, and did it get started in New York as the creation is saying? Is hip hop? Yeah, but the elements and everything that go with hip hop and what hip hop is, that didn't just start in New York, bro. That was going on everywhere. That's why when people started coming out and making rap music, which is a part of hip hop is the top. Black is at the very top. Hip hop is underneath that. It's all a reflection of what black people be doing every day. Other people came in and start participating as well. I don't understand why that'd be an issue and a problem, but Fat Joe said what he said right there, indirectly knowing, or probably just keeping it 100, but people, it is what it is. You talk long enough, you will say what really happened, and then, hey, that's what we were saying the whole time. It is what it is. Tell me what y'all think. We got more coming, more videos, all that. 1,000 for shit show. Stay on your pivot.